Do you want to talk about your mental health at work? If you do, that means you'll need to be responsible for how you do it. Mental health at work conversations are a two-way street, and how someone expresses themselves to the people who are trying to support them matters. I'm going to teach you why you can and should treat learning how to talk about your mental health at work as a critical professional development skill. We're going to cover how you can constructively approach these conversations and specific considerations for whether you're speaking to your colleagues, manager, or HR. I've been on a mission for over 10 years to open up realistic conversations about mental health where we need it most. If you're ready to improve this critical conversational skill, join me in my LinkedIn Learning course on how to realistically talk about your mental health at work. I wish I could give you a platinum level guarantee that every single lesson in this course would work for you. I can't do that. No one can. This course is aimed at individuals, and individuals are unique. That means how you use this content will need to be unique to you too. Please critically evaluate and reflect on what I share with you during this course. It's up to you to decide what to leave and what to take, because how you choose to share about your mental health at work is a very personal process based on a variety of factors, which we'll get into shortly. But these lessons will only be successful for you if you apply them to who you are as a person in your career and in the company you work for. In addition to being an individual, it's not lost on me that you may be a manager too and have a team of people that report to you. If that's the case, please remember that just because you're a manager doesn't mean you can't talk about your mental health too, despite your job title. In addition to learning how to talk about your mental health at work, if you also want to learn how to talk about mental health with your team and how to constructively support them, I hope you'll take a look at my other course that's focused on how to talk about mental health at work as a manager. If you aren't a manager, I hope my brief address to those who may be leaders watching this reminds you that leaders are human too, and they have their own mental health struggles. I also want to make it explicitly clear that this course is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not a substitute for any kind of psychological, medical, legal, HR, or other types of advice. If you're experiencing mental health issues that need to be addressed beyond talking to your colleagues, manager, or someone from HR, please seek the relevant psychological or medical care you need from the professionals dedicated to providing those specific services. Last but not least, please remember that this is an introductory, high-level best practices learning experience. I wish I could make this course much longer, but this is going to be efficient and quick. Now, speaking of mental health, let's talk about what that term really means and why you need to get these definitions right if you're going to share about your mental health at work. So many people avoid talking about their mental health at work because they don't know how to explain what they're feeling to others, or they're afraid they'll be misunderstood if they try, or they're unclear on the concepts themselves. These struggles are valid because we've been historically discouraged from talking about mental health, let alone at work. So let's fix that. If you're going to talk about mental health at work and potentially explain these concepts to others, you need to be clear on their meanings too. Mental health is our psychological, social, and emotional well-being. Despite its positive-sounding name, mental health is about an entire spectrum of emotions, not just the pleasant ones. All of these emotions, evolutionarily, exist to tell us how to feel and react to people and our environment around us, and to tell ourselves and others if we need support or something is wrong. The feeling wheel from Dr. Gloria Wilcox illustrates the dozens of emotions we come pre-programmed with. Stress is when we encounter a stimulus that requires adjustment or response. Despite its negative social connotation, stress is a neutral concept, and there are two types of stress, good and bad. Good stress could be moving into a new house and knowing you'll have to invest more to make it your dream house. Bad stress could be a boss who micromanages you, resulting in stress nightmares and headaches every morning. Having too much of either type isn't healthy because your body, brain, and survival hormones cannot tell the difference between the modern stress of life and a saber-toothed tiger trying to maul you. And stress can impact mental health and mental illness. Mental illness, also called a mental health condition or mental ill health, is a diagnosable disorder that impacts someone's emotions, behavior, or thinking patterns. There are over 300 types of mental illnesses, ranging from mild to severe, chronic to episodic, and everything in between. Well-known disorders include generalized anxiety disorder, bipolar disorder, alcoholism, schizophrenia, binge eating disorder, and many more. Mental illness can impact anyone, regardless of the life they lead, and it can develop from a variety of factors like genetics, traumatic experiences, physical health conditions, and many other reasons. It's critical to understand that people don't choose to have a mental illness. They choose what they want to do about managing it, provided they have access to behavioral health resources, can afford them, and are willing to use them. Most people who have a mental illness are actually high functioning. That means they work, have romantic and social relationships, manage their money, and do all the things that functional people do. They just also happen to have a brain illness, which in many cases is part of but doesn't completely dictate their life. So your main takeaways are, 1, if you're going to talk about your mental health at work, strive to use the right language to describe your situation. And 2, a lack of understanding of these topics is a barrier to constructive conversations, even for you as the sharer. Speaking of conversational barriers, let's take a closer look at those next. You don't need me to tell you that you have your own reasons for why you may not want to talk about your mental health at work. You've lived your life. You went through it. Everyone has reasons why they may be scared to talk about mental health in general, let alone at work, and it's very real to them. So let's cover the high level and most common personal and professional experiences that are, unfortunately, acting as obstacles to having mental health conversations at work. Even though we as a global society have been talking about mental health for a while now and telling people it's finally safe to talk about it, here's what's missing. We've completely underestimated how individual life experiences influence how we think and talk about mental health in general. Moments from our personal lives and work lives have left a hefty impact on us when it comes to talking about mental health at work. And we need to look at what those influences are and how we carry them around with us everywhere. Let's take a look at work first. There are so many reasons why people feel scared to open up about their mental health at work. Personal life experiences aside, countless professionals feel that talking about their mental health at work will endanger their career or lead to different treatment from colleagues. Make no mistake, the workplace is an adult playground. We're all just older and have different rules and toys. To add to the workplace influences, think about the work cultures that avoid or discourage mental health conversations, or working for leaders who are emotionally avoidant or only care about KPIs, or having an HR department that's been told by the powers that be to avoid talking about mental health because it's too high risk, or my least favorite, witnessing colleagues who make ignorant jokes about mental health or love to broadcast what people personally share to others. The list goes on. Now on to the personal stuff. A very common fear I hear from people about why they're hesitant to talk about mental health is they don't want to be othered or be seen as weird. These expectations come from the people who raised us, the culture we come from, old school gender rules, our peers, or the religion we follow, or even past experiences of when we tried to open up about our mental health that went really badly, teaching us that keeping our mouths shut is the safer bet. Take a moment now and consider your own relationship with talking about your mental health at work. When was the last time mental health struggles impacted your ability to work? Were you able to talk about it? If so, to who? If you felt like you couldn't, why is that? Pause the video now and reflect on your answers. Go ahead, I'll wait. What emotions or memories came up for you just now? I know this is a personal subject, so keeping these answers in mind throughout the course will provide valuable context as to how to apply these concepts to you. Your takeaways here are: 1, you're responsible to pinpoint where your concerns come from and how to overcome them. 2, don't let hang-ups stop you from talking about your mental health. You're preventing opportunities for others to support you. 3, if you tried to talk about your mental health at work before and it didn't go well, don't lose hope. There are people, managers, and companies out there who do get it right.